Diaz Gunners Collective, back at it like a smack addict. And as you can tell by that thumbnail, yes indeedy, we're going to do it in a menudo style in a direct fashion, right? Trip out. You know, through my whole career as a Norteño, you know, and doing what I did, the number game was always being played, right? We were always outnumbered. You know, numbers become a factor, you know, when you go to places and you get there, so get your you get to a place, you're thinking, okay, it's all good. There's about 5 or 6 of the homeboys. We're going to hold it down. It is what it is. Then you hit that yarda or you hit that compa or that building or whatever the case may be. And there's 50 Surenos. Then you're like, oh, okay. And in that fashion, right? And time after time after time, I've heard stories. I've been put in predicaments where this was the case, you know. It seems like I was always outnumbered, Vato, you know what I mean? At one point in time, I go from down south in CYA to up north, and then the numbers game switch up, you know. But we always had different rules and regulations and different ways that we carried ourselves. You know, when we were down south in CYA and Fred C. Nellis, I mean, to fight a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 5-on-1 was regular. You know, that was pretty regular. It just was what it was. You know, the Sureños were numerous in numbers, and it seems like they played that number card pretty extensively. You know, am I going to sit there and say, oh, they did it so good because they couldn't see us? Charlie, bro, that wasn't the case. You know, I mean, one-on-ones, we had a lot of those. The numbers, when the numbers are in your favor, Sasuke, you got that upper hand. You know, and as being a Norteño, the strive is just a little bit different. You know, you pretty much know just right off the bat, wherever you're going to go, you're going to be outnumbered. And this is where the test of man comes. This is where we're going to see what if you can hold it down. You know, if you're really active in your function, if you're really about your business, you know, because the numbers are never going to be in your favor. As you can tell by those pictures right there, that's just a little 2-on-1. And in that particular case, what happened is a Norteño found himself in an ad seg situation where they will pop your doors to come out to the day room so that way you can make phone calls, get your little hour of program time, whatever the case may be. And the placas went and popped the 2 Sureños doors and this one Norteño's door, and it was on like fucking Donkey and Dinky Kong, right? And in that fashion, what this Norteño proceeded to do from those pictures was take off running down the tira to another homeboy cell and get slipped the piece, right? So that way, by the time these 2 Sureños found out, Sosuke, he's out here with us, you know, being that it was ad seg, it's pretty much on site with the enemigas, you know, mandatory rush. So these 2 vatos, of course, they ran down the stairs, they got off on him, but he held his own. He went and got a piece, the equalizer. He went and got that pedazo to help him in a situation. And I mean, it'd be like that, you know. Like I said, being a Norteño, being a Northerner, he already knew single cell that if this was ever to happen, he was ever put in the situation, he strategically had a plan of what the fuck he was going to do. Let's get, he took off running, went and got that piece and was on and cracking. And like I said, man, this is just another sad love song. This is just another story that gets played over and over again in time, you know. And don't get it twisted. Like I said, there have been certain situations where the Sureños found themselves outnumbered. You know, and this happens in a lot of different group factions, not just North and South. You know, I'm sure over there in the East Coast between the Latin Kings, you got Satan's Disciples, you got fucking Latin Counts, you got whatever the case may be, they got their little thing going on. And some Vatos got the upper hand, some Vatos are deeper, some Vatos aren't. You know, so I'm not going to just sit here and say, oh, boo-hoo, it's just the Northerner. Not Charlie, bro. Everybody can find themselves in an icky, sticky situation. It's how you handle it. It's how you handle it, you know, being a soldado. Now, like I said, the war to me is frivolous. It's been frivolous. I discovered that a long time ago as a youngster. Hey, what are we doing this for? We're all the same, right? We ain't the same, putos. Right? Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the, you know what I mean? These motherfuckers followed the yellow brick road, came to Emerald City and got off. That's just how it was. That's just how it continues to be. Now, things are changing. It's a little bit different. We're going to get into all that. But what I'm saying is, for the most part, being a Norteño at that time, I already knew the numbers game wasn't going to be in my favor. I already knew I was going to be outnumbered. You know, getting off that bus in CYA and Fred C. Nellis, that was the situation. You know, that was the situation. I just came from NRCC up in Sacramento where we had the numbers. You know, there was about 40 of us on Dorm 1 and probably about 6 or 7 Sureños, you know. And I will tell you this right now, first and foremost, them Vatos, and most of them were from Bakersfield. Hey, Sesky, they were in muddy waters, but they didn't sink. They handled their business. Righteously, they handled their business. We didn't come out to see each other much, but when we did, Sesky, hey, they handled their business. There's no doubt about that. And I could only feel their plight. And I was going to feel it. Not even a couple months later, here I find myself on my way to LA, to Whittier, what is it, Northeast LA, or Spencer, Southeast LA. And the situation, the tides were going to turn on me, right? But I prepared myself for this. Mentally, you have to prepare yourself for what's coming. You never know in life what exactly is coming, but you prepare yourself for all situations. Hey, if you stay ready, I think you ain't got to get ready, right? And this was the case. I got off that bus, and I already knew, okay, these Vatos are waiting on us. They got the heads up. They got the upper hand. They've already fashioned weaponry. It's going to be on. And sure enough, Sasuke, it was, right? That night, getting to that dorm, the oppression was real. I could see Vatos looking at me, whispering. Me being myself, I was already of the understanding, man, I'll just get off right now. Fuck it, homies, la primera, and handle it, right? But the homeboys, of course, being a group, they wanted to kick on back, seeing if we could wiggle a little bit, seeing if we can get by. And sure enough, that didn't last long. As soon as the nightman came, them lights hit, boom, it all cracked. Someone said something, everyone sat up, and it was on, and it was on. And a lot of others won't experience what I experienced, battery packs with rocks in them. When I say packs, I mean socks containing rocks. Those hit you in the head. They hurt. Pedazos of all types. We had blades, we had picos, bed springs, fashion, screen windows. The side, the aluminum. They slide easy. There was Vatos getting hit from every angle, and that's just the way it is. It's part of the game. You had to just fucking back up. So I was gonna crawdad, homie, and handle your business. Whatever, man. Forever forward. And then the beat went on. It didn't stop there. The next day, man, 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s, 4-on-1s, 8-on-1s, 6-on-1. Just a continuance of daily oppression, just a continuance of the numbers game. And any soldado that thinks that it's just going to be all fine and dandy, so okay, we're going to go in there, we're going to fucking handle our business, we're going to get down like this. You got another thing coming, baboso. Don't think that it's always going to be in your favor. Don't think it's always going to be, hey, we're off to see the wizard. Nah, Charlie, bro. Oh, you're going to see someone, all right. You're going to see a few of them. Traditionally, like I said, the Surenos have always had the upper hand as far as numbers. What Nortenos they are will carry their own. They will handle their business. You will be forced to. If not, Sasuke, roll it up. Do what you do. Just do it way over there. That's just how it's been. And I could tell you of numerous situations where that's been the case. Like I said before in other spills, man, in my interviews, there was a school area when I was in Nellis that I'd have to walk every day, and there was no one to walk with me. For the most part, man, it was on my lonesome, on my own, and that was the one time, man, where I had a lot of time to think and reflect. Fuck, what was this for, man? These are Chicanos. Those are Chicanos killing Chicanos. This is what they want. That's good. I didn't have fucking time for all that. Sorry. You know what I mean? Boom. They would get off that quick, or I would choose to get off. Whatever the case may be, somebody was fighting that day. Daily. There was no just wiggling by. Hey, maybe if I just do it this day, if I take a left instead of a right, I could, nah, there was none of that. Sasuke, there's Vatos on the left and the right. Hey, who's the dick in the middle? They were waiting. They were waiting. And the situation got sticky. The cool part about the whole thing was, at that time, we were all youngsters and didn't really know what we were doing it for, other than just having a name for ourselves. And it's all about respect, cause put some respect on my name. And they're going to put some respect on your name and a piece of steel in you at the same time. Like I said, man, being oppressed and being down there, the numbers game was getting played, and that we decided to say, fuck them numbers, and started to getting off in small pockets ourselves, and to minimize the numbers, and to basically, we're going to turn it on you, Vato. We hit him with the Chicana. Hey, don't know what do the Chicana U-turn, like Gunna does a Chicana U-turn, eh? Orale credit, right? I was doing the Chicana U-turn. I was getting off first. And I know there's going to be a lot of Vatos. Hey, yeah, all right, sounds good, homie. Yeah, you were getting, oh, yeah, you're cool. Nah, it's nothing like that, bro. It was out of self-preservation, one's self-awareness, and one's self-security. I had to, Vato. If not, it was hit that band with fucking 50 Surenos with fucking pedazos. Now you tell me who won. There They were going to handle their business. It was a no-win situation. And, I've talked to many homeboys, and there's been situations where vatos were sent down south. And, of course, as soon as you get down south, man, they were going to tell you, hey, you got to wear your T-shirt. You can't show your tattoos. You have to cut your hair a certain way. This, biddy-boop, biddy-boop, this or that. There's always going to be some rules and regulations as a form of oppression to get you, man, to look stupid, so that way these vatos feel superior and have the upper hand. And it went both ways in certain situations. And being a soldado, being a real one, you said, fuck you, Holmes, you know what I mean? La primera, and you handled your business right then and there. There was no time to sit back and utilize a game plan and Sasuke, all right, coach, you go this way, you go that way, utterly hike. There was no time for that. Sasuke, Montana, get in there and throw a fucking touchdown. Handle it right from the gate, right now. That's just what it is. Get off where you're mad at. And if you're not mad, Sasuke, they're going to get off, so you better get off anyways. But there's been a lot of things. There was a situation in Nellis, a situation in Fresinas. I speak a lot about CYA, man, because I have a lot of reflection about that. That played an intricate part into my life and what dictated me being the man that I am. Having love for all group segments, having love for the raza that I do. And it was this certain situation in this place that they put me, man. It was a Thunderdome. It was a war zone. It was the time bomb, they called it. You know what I mean? You went there with a little bit of time and you guaranteed to get stretched into your whole maximum amount of time. That's just what it was. For a lot of people, they don't understand. If they give you 4 or 5 years in CYA, you usually did about 2. It's probably about a little half or a little bit less than half. Then you wiggled. If you went to Nellis, it didn't even give a fuck who you were. You were doing your whole time. That's just what it was. You couldn't escape fighting. You couldn't escape the antics there. That was a fucking time bomb. So that shaped me into the man I am nowadays, and doing all that time made my mind state the way it is. So watch out. There was a situation that occurred, after we left, after the group that I was with left. We left here by here, piece by piece, vato from vato. I cut a stabbing with the pedazo. I was in the caja, that's the box, the oil. And from there, I shipped to Presto, and I've told the story. We'll tell more extensive stories later on. But later on, I think it was 1998, couldn't even be after that. There was a story that I heard up north. I had got out, and they were like, hey, did you hear what happened at Nellis where you were at? And I said, Chad, and I think Incredible Javier has touched on this situation, man. And I'm going to just kind of give you my little spill on it. Where the layout of this box, we called it the box, which was the oil, was a big L-shaped. And there was a long hallway, and there were cells on both sides, and the cells on both sides that went that way. Now, the back side was TAF, which was considered a lockup program, basically like a shoe program for California Youth Authority, right? If you did something very hectic, very wild, a stabbing, so they got fucking tired of you, beat up a cop, they couldn't control you, they would put you on this TAF program, which was a step program that you worked your way, integrated yourself back into mainline. Most vatos that went back there spent fucking years back there, bro. You wouldn't even see them again your whole time. But for the most part, they had a lot of the Fresno Bulldogs back there, some very highly active Surenos and Nortenos. And that's just what it was. They kept them segregated. Now, me, most of the time I did was on the oil side, the whole side, because I was constantly, it was like a revolving door. I would get in a fight, go to the hole, get maced, go to the hole, next day, come right back out, start it all over again, and the beat goes on, whisper style. But what had happened, I guess, was that, back there, you got a lot of vatos that got a lot of time on their hands, and they're youngsters. So what do? They bump baking soda breath. They like to wolf on those doors. Cell soldiers is what they call them, cell warriors. Vatos are going to wolf back and forth. They fuck you, fuck your mom, your dead homeboys fucked your mom. My mom fucked my dead homeboy. And it's just going to go back and forth. They're going to keep on wolfing, right? And it's just, it's frivolous antics. It's antics played by children. It's even adults do it, man. You get stir crazy. You're doing so much time. You're locked behind these walls. There's nothing more than to fucking talk shit. There's a lot of shit talkers in this world. Vatos that would talk the good one man, but are not handling their business. And then there's some vatos that will handle their business and talk some shit, and in that fashion. But whatever the case may be, these Northerners and Southerners were going back and forth, talking their shit, And the Surenos started to plot and plan, or Southsiders, whatever you want to call them. They started to plan. They got upset. They were tired of hearing this shit. So they said, we're going to take these placas hostage. We're going to go in there and we're going to book every Norteño in here. And I can't call it for sure exactly what took place. I wasn't there, but this is what happened. There are some Sureños that were there that know the more intricate details into this. I can give you a roundabout story and just tell you that they did actually fucking beat up the placas. and were able to wiggle out of those handcuffs, get the keys, and start unlocking doors. Now imagine how you would feel, a 14, 15-year-old kid. Oh, you're high powered one day talking all that shit. The next day, vatos are coming to your cell with big old pedazos, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, this is what happened. There were several Nortenos that got booked, several Nortenos that got sliced, cut, flighted up out of there. This is just what it was. You know, I would have been like, fuck it, right? Me, at that time, man, I was always pieced up. I would get to that oil, and first thing I would do is start fashioning me up a pedazo. Because I already thought about that situation. You know, the way that the placas there, they were too carefree and too relaxed. You know, they always thought everything was fun and games and they couldn't be touched. Oh, but motherfuckers will reach out and touch them. I see many a times where they got crazy and vatos, you know, cracked them. You know, so it was only a matter of time. At one point in time, the Northerners were also planning to do the same thing. Probably by 94, 95, we were all in the oil planning to do the exact same movida. Straight up. We never got a chance to make that happen. Like I said, it was a revolving door. Most Northerners were in and out of the oil, so it never took place. But the Surenos being there on Taft made it happen. You know, again, that's a form of oppression. Imagine these guys are fucking in the cell, and 2 or 3 vatos are coming to the cell with the keys, with pedazos. Sasuke, I'm so alone. There's nothing you can do about it, bro. It's a game. It's a wrap. It's done. Game over. Hey, whoopsie. Tiger uppercut. See you later. You know, didn't work this time. But I'm just saying, you know, these situations happen a lot. They were prevalent, you know, through CYA. Now, getting older, going to the penitentiary, going to prison, the rules changed a little bit. Of course, the numbers game was always on the Sureño side as far as North and South. And Crips and Bloods as well, man. You know, you can go certain places and the Crips were thick, you know, and the Sangres were just struggling. You know, but the Africanos play their thing a little bit different, you know. It's an Africano thing. They do have their own carros, and every once in a while there'll be a little beef, or you killed my homeboy, I killed your homeboy type thing. But for the most part, man, you're not going to see no Crips and Bloods going at it like that. You know, you're going to see more North and South. And you won't even see North and South. It's a respect thing, man. It's a very respectful thing that goes on. But the numbers are still prevalent on the South side. Just the way it is, man. I mean, I don't think things are ever going to change. Now, you have, of course, with this end of hostilities, everybody's kicking on back and doing their thing. And now, just like what the homeboys from a convict's perspective said yesterday on their spill, they're starting to integrate these S&Y yards, which are basically these non-actives or these degenerates, whatever you want to call them, with these actives, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, man, quietly as it's kept, don't sleep on it, you know? These vatos will butcher each other, and in that fashion, you know? Like I said, you just because vatos are over there on the other side doesn't mean they're suckers, man. You know, anything could have happened. They could have went over there because they just wanted to get out. They could have went over there because, you know, I mean, a bad call got called on them. And they could actually went over there because they do have degenerate factors that fall into their play or fall into their case. Whatever the case may be, man, he's a grown man just like they're a grown man. But you got to understand they have the numbers. When they're bringing these actives to these non-active yards, because I don't think it's happening vice versa. I don't think they're putting non-actives on active yards. I think they're putting actives on non-active yards. That's how they're integrating it. You know what I mean? The pedazos are real. They hurt. You know what I mean? It's going to go down, man. The way I see it, I've seen certain situations, man, where vatos that don't want to be on a certain yard, man, will get off. And I've seen where they just decide to stay. It's an ugly situation, man. I can't call it like an alcoholic. All I got to say is, man, in the Chicano culture, we are warriors. You know, we are people made up of prideful warriors. So we will handle our biz. That's not even a question, you know. I'm not going to say all vatos are, we all got, we're all fucking with it, Charlie, man. Not everybody. You know, there's some vatos that go in there like, hey, well, they want me to go handle, yeah, I don't want to go in the, y'all. You know what I mean? They're not trying to go in there and handle business. They just want to go home. You know what I mean? But when you get involved in the activities of being a gang member and doing what you got to do, so hey, the numbers are not always going to be on your side. Time is on my side. That's about the only thing that's on your side is time. You know what I mean? The numbers game, pretty much there's always going to be more on one side than the other. If you ever find yourself even, Steven, well, sounds like easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. That's when it's on, right? But for the most part, that's not what it's going to be, man. You got to understand there's a lot more Southsiders and Sureños than there ever will be Nortenos. That's just the way it is. They've been established for much longer, and they're going to continue as such. Does that mean that fucking Nortenos are getting taxed or beat up every time? Charlie, man, that doesn't mean that. It just means that fucking they're deeper. You know what I mean? And for the most, so you better be ready at the end of the day to find yourself in a 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 10-on-1 situation. You know, if you're not about all that, Sasuke, I said, advise, watch out. And in this fashion, roll it up right now. See you later. Bye-bye. You know what I mean? Because you're going to find yourself in that situation. Just as being a guerra, a northern soldado, it's just what it is. And even Surenos, man, ponte trucha, man, because they might send you up north. And I've seen it where the tides have turned, man, and it got ugly for Surenos. You know, the way we were in the rules and regulations in CYA, man, we would not jump vatos. You know what I mean? More than likely, it was going to be a one-on-one. You know, we wanted to show that we didn't get down like that. You know what I mean? But if you went down south, Sasuke, you're going to get jumped. That's just the way it is. Anyways, man, I hope that you got everything that you want coming to you. I hope that you move fast with a purpose. That's called hustling. At the end of the day, man, fuck all this shit, man. It ain't about fighting and jumping and beating everyone up, man. It's about uniting the raza and pushing forward. I just want to show you the harsh realities of going to prison and prepare these youngsters that think they're all highly powered. What it's going to be like. You know, what it's going to be like. You could talk all these frivolous antics and talk all this shit about you're this and you're that, and people know me and I got a name and all that, and none of that means anything when a fucking little youngster with the big old piece comes at you. You know what I mean? Who cares who you are? So they're going to show you who they are. And in that fashion. Anyways, hope that you guys got everything that you want coming to you. The gun. Bang, bang. Soldados. You never know where they're at.